Welcome to Community View. I'm Melissa Anderson. You know, in the next few weeks, voters will decide on 3 St. George City candidates from a list of 6. We've decided to ask them all the same questions for a brief overview of their standings. And with me today is candidate and incumbent Ed Baca. Welcome, Ed.
Well, thank you.
You're not new to St. George. What do you do here besides the council?
I get to meet people like you. And before we go, I want you to know how much I appreciate all that you do and all the filming that you do that helps bring this transparency to all the citizens of what we do that you're going to be asking me questions about, because you're making it work.
Okay, great. Thanks. I appreciate that. So what do you offer then for if you were to be reelected?
My lot fell in public service. I started working for the city in California in 1961. I went about and continued my public service in county government. I've been able to be a substitute school teacher and fill in on teaching. So I've spent almost my entire life in public service. And I can tell you that being on the St. George City Council is not only an honor and a privilege, it's one of the most gratifying experiences I've had. And being able to reach out and work with people is, in my estimation, one of the biggest gifts you can have.
What do you feel is the most important issues as we go forward in the future in St. George?
You know, that question is asked all the time, and as a matter of fact, some of the interviews you have with some of the different groups in town, they'll ask you, they'll give you a whole list of 10, for example. And I looked at the list and I said, 6 or 7 of these can all be number 1. Whether you start with water, whether you go to electricity, whether you go to maintenance, whether you go to treatment plants, whether you go to roadways, they're all essential, and it's all part of what makes our life and gives us the quality of life that we want here. Mm-hmm. But when you really look at it, you look real close, you'll find that public safety is number 1. And I think that you've probably reported on the number of traffic accidents we have, and they're occurring in major intersections with signal lights, controlled intersections. We're having issues being able to hire enough police officers. We're having issues with being able to hire enough firemen. So you know, and I think all our citizens know, if you're not safe in your home or on the streets or in the community as you go about, a lot of these other things don't mean a lot. So I place public safety as number 1, and we can progress down the list from there.
What's your stance then on increases for taxes on, say, roads, infrastructure, or to support the public service then?
Well, you know, the last issue, the county went ahead and approved 0.25% of 1% for gasoline tax. And I think that was a good thing. The citizens of St. George passed it. Some other communities in Washington County did not. But when you stop and you really think about it, this is a tourist city. We bring in a large amount of people. They spend a large amount of money. And it's estimated that those people would probably, with this tax, pay 40% of the cost to improve our roads and perhaps transportation like bus service. So I think that's a good thing to do. It takes the burden away from the other taxpaying citizens who have been here a number of years, and it kind of transfers it out.
And very briefly, are you in support of the construction of the Northern Corridor or the Lake Powell Pipeline?
I am. And that was, I received a question on that, and I answered it almost immediately. And the question, it really is. Water is essential. We live in a desert. Without water, we'll shrivel up, right? And we don't want to do that. We want to be able to look to the future, and when you look at the water issues, you don't solve it overnight. You're talking, you have to project out 30, 35, 40 years, and I think that's what the Lake Powell Pipeline does. So I am supportive of it. I'm supportive of it because it'll bring more jobs. It'll help to enhance our schools, like we're in the Dixie State University, and you can see what's going on this campus. Water. Without water, we won't be able to do a lot of those things for our future kids and grandkids that are going to follow us.
Well, I thank you for being here and wish you the best of luck.
We didn't get through all your questions, did we?
No, just the voting part. Thanks for watching, and like Ed said, be sure to get out and vote because the election time is very important. Have a nice day.